These are the examples for Algebra 2A, Credit 5, Lesson 10.2. Lesson 10.2, we're going to be taking a look at transformations on the square root function. This is our transformed, the general form of our transformed square root function. Remember, this is based off the parent function, square root of x. Parent function meaning that there are no transformations on it. All right, so we see the familiar a, h, and k up here, which we've seen in previous lessons with other types of functions. The good news is they do the same thing. They have the same effect on the graph that they did in previous lessons. So remember with a, if the absolute value of a is greater than 1, that's a vertical stretch. If it's between 0 and 1, that's a vertical compression. With h, now remember in the general form, h has a minus there. So kind of h does the opposite of what we might think it would do. Plus h, remember plus would normally we think would be going to the right. Plus h is going to move us to the left, and then minus h will move us to the right. So h is what shifts the graph or translates the graph left or right. Finally, with k, let's make that look a little bit nicer. K is the nice one. It does what you think it will. The number that's outside the radical is what moves the graph up or down. Plus k moves us up. Minus k moves us down. Let's take a look at a couple of, and we won't need this. Let's go and get rid of this. Let's take a look at a couple of examples for problem number 1. So in addition to the parent square root function here, I can see there's two transformations. There's the plus 4, or excuse me, there's the 4 over here being multiplied to the square root of x, and then the minus 3. So 4 is in the position of a, it's to the left of the radical, and 4 is greater than 1, so that's going to be a vertical stretch by a factor of 4. So it's a vertical stretch because it's greater than 1, and by a factor of just whatever a is. All right, now the minus 3, is that h or is that k? How do we know? Well, it's outside of the radical. In other words, the minus 3 is not under the radical, so it's k. It's a minus, so it's going to move us down 3 units. And that would be, they're using the word translate, so we'll use that. So translate down, or we could say it shifts down, but they use translate, so we use that. Down 3 units. And that's it. So that's all we would have to do if that was our problem. So and again, number 1's multiple choice. You just look for the answer choice that has the correct transformations. Let's take a look at another one. This is still for problem number 1, just to take a look at another situation. Notice the number to the left of the square root is 7. That's in the a position. And so 7 is greater than 1, so that would be a vertical stretch, again, because 7 is more than 1, by a factor of 7, because this time it's a 7 there. Next, we have the plus 2 is, again, it's not under the radical, it's outside the radical. Plus, so that's k, and so k is when it's outside the radical. And so plus moves us up. So that would be translate not down, but up 2 units. And those would be the examples, a couple examples there for number 1. All right, let's take a look at examples for 2 and 3 over here. And so for number 2, we've got 1, 2, 3 transformations going on. So numbers 2 and 3, they want us to state the transformation, so it's not multiple choice. And so let's go ahead and do that. So 3 is in the a position. It's outside of the radical. In fact, let's go ahead and, since I think that's off the screen, let's go ahead and put this up here so we have it, the general form here. All right, so that's to the left of the radical. So that would be a vertical, and 3 is more than 1. So once again, we have a vertical stretch by a factor of, this time 3. And then 4 is underneath the radical, so that's h. And remember, plus 4 moves us to the left, or plus any number, I should say, moves us to the left. So plus moves us to the left. So we're going to translate 4 units to the left. And then there's one more transformation here. This -7 is outside the, you want to say parentheses, outside of the radical. And so that's k. It's a minus. Remember, when k is a minus, it goes down. So that would be translate 7 units down. And those are our 3 transformations for our example for problem number 2. Okay, let's see. Make sure we got everything we wanted to say. Yep, that looks good. All right, let's take a look at an example for number 3. This time we have 2 in the A position, so that's a vertical. Again, it's a stretch by a factor. And why is it a stretch? Because 2 is more than 1, so any number more than 1. A vertical stretch by a factor of 2. Underneath the radical, we have a -1. So that's h, so that's left and right. Minus, remember, moves us to the right. So we're going to say translate 1 unit to the right. And then finally, outside the radical, we have this 4. So the number outside the radical is k, and plus k moves us up. So that would be translates or move. By the way, when we say translates, we just mean it moves the graph. So 1 unit to the right. In this case, for the 4 here, 4 units. Whoops, that should be singular. 1 unit to the right. 4 units up. So vertical stretch by a factor of 2 translates 1 unit to the right, and then translates 4 units up, or up 4 units, however you want to say that. Okay, so just checking everything here, make sure we're good. All right, very good, excellent. All right, so that's it for 2 and 3. And now let's take a look. We'll go over to the next page, page 20, and let's take a look at examples for problems 4 and 5. 4 and 5, what we're doing there is determining the translation from the graph. And so on 4, we're going to have an up and down translation, up or down, we'll see. We'll do examples for both, and what you'll do is, of course, look at the graph, and you'll determine which ones applies. And then same thing for number 5, we'll do, that'll be or similar thing for number 5, that'll be a left and right translation. All right, so let's take a look at an example for number 4. And so what we're going to do is that they're going to give you the parent function. So we've got 0, 0, 1, 1, and 4 and 2. Okay, so that's our parent function. That's our f of x. And then let's take a look here at this first example. Let's go, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. I'm kind of giving away the answer here by the counting, ain't I? So this is going to be our g of x function here. Okay, so to go from f of x to g of x, what was done here? Well, it looks like the graph shifted up 3 units. And so let's see, they're just writing the function. Okay, so g of x. And so that what that would be then is we have square root of x, our parent function, and we moved up. We went from f of x to g of x. So that's 1, 2, 3 units up. And remember, k is the up and down. So the question becomes, well, is the 3, is it underneath the radical or is it outside the radical? Well, remember, for transformations outside the radical, or excuse me, translations that are up and down are the number that's outside the radical. So here we went up 3 units, so that would be square root of x plus 3. And so that would be, you look for that answer choice, and then you would have your correct answer. Okay, so now let's take a look at another example for number 4. So we're going to have the same parent function. And this time we're going to do this. So be careful to count not out loud because we don't want to give away the answer. All right, so now this time to go from the parent function f of x to g of x. So from f of x to g of x, we're going down. And it looks like we're going down 1, 2 units. So our g of x function would be our parent function square root of x. And then we're going down, so that would be outside the radical minus 2. So g of x minus 2, or excuse me, g of x equals square root of x minus 2 would be the answer that we'd be looking for. All right, so that is our examples for number 4. And let's get rid of this, carefully erasing it. And let's take a look at an example for problem number 5. So in number 5, we're starting out with the same parent function, f of x. And our first example, let's do this. Again, being very careful not to give too much away here. All right, so this is our g of x. So now this time, instead of moving up and down, as we talked about, for example, for number 4, we're going to be moving horizontally here. And so this time, to go from f of x to g of x, it looks like we moved to the left. So we're going to have g of x equals the square root of x minus, remember it's x minus h under the radical. Let's go ahead and remind you of that. So when it's left and right, we're dealing with h, which is underneath the radical. And so x minus, so how many units did we move? We moved 2 to the left. So that would be x minus, we moved in the negative direction, x minus a negative 2. Remember, subtracting a negative, a minus minus becomes a positive. So that would be g of x equals the square root of x plus 2. And so that is the answer choice we would be looking for if that was our graph. All right, let's take a look at one more situation for number 5. Here we go. All right, so we have our parent function f of x, and in this one, we're going to be moving over here. And that's going to be our g of x function. All right, so this time we're moving in the positive direction. We're moving left to right. Let's get rid of some of these stray marks here. And so we have g of x equals, now this, once again, we're moving horizontally. And so we're dealing with h, which is under the radical. And so this would be x minus, remember it's in the form of x minus, but it's a positive 4 as we're moving to the right. So x minus a positive 4. Nothing to simplify on that one. So that would be our answer. G of x equals x minus 4, or square root of x minus 4. All right, so those are the examples for lesson 10.2. Again, pause, rewind the video as needed. I'm sure you're going to do great with the problems. And until the next video, take care and God bless.